Hey,
Hey Josh, thank
how's it
you for
going, man?
taking the time, man.
Of
I'm
course.
good. Good. I just got into Chattanooga
I was
for
gonna
their
say, yeah, where are you at right now? Because the film festival's like tomorrow, isn't it?
yeah, it's tomorrow. I got to stop by I'm helping not creatively, but I'm helping on a production for my job in Nashville. So I stopped by there today and just drove in.
Fantastic. Well,
Yep.
congrats. That's exciting.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
But I thank you for taking the time. I think I think I can maybe talk you up into like at least a 3 star or higher for my movie. I'm kidding. Uh,
Did I not give it
um,
three? I thought I gave. Maybe I gotta rewatch it.
no, I'm actually I like talking to people who feel on the broader spectrum about it because your video was also really lovely and very kind, and I really appreciate you
Oh
supporting us
yeah,
in this endeavor.
of course. Yeah, I'm glad you're open to talking about that because that was the funniest thing is when she messaged me asking if I would be willing to check it out. I was like, yeah, let me look it up. It's on some festivals, and this movie does have a very divided audience on Letterboxd where you're getting a lot of like four like people friends of mine who gave it like four and a half, 5 stars saying they really hope it finds distribution soon and they can't wait to talk to more people about it. They absolutely loved it. And then a fair amount of low reviews from people who were just very confused or just did not work for them. And I think that's
Yeah,
the beauty of these types of genre films is you don't want to please everybody and you kind of do you enjoy it when you see some people that are just like, no, it didn't work for me.
yeah. I mean, it's funny because I don't you don't make a film to piss people off. Like it
Yeah.
never really comes into mind. And so much of of the movie making is kind of clarifying the core idea with the people that you're making the film with, and then with the people that you bring under the hood as you're editing it together. And the movie, I think, by its design, is very it's very like to me it's like a piece of music of
Mhm.
like you're following along with it on a level almost like I don't want to say beyond narrative, but like on a very like kind of kinetic, like I'm in this person's head and experience level. And every choice we wanted to make was to kind of like get us closer and closer to her. And I I've had like very close friends who are like I forgot to tell you that I really liked it because it genuinely upset me for like a day. I found that just deeply unpleasant. Like I found that like a Dancer in the Dark esque experience, and I'm like, I love Dancer in the Dark. Not a movie that ever went through my head when we were making Sender. There's a quote in the De Palma documentary when about a phenomenal movie, Body Double, one of my favorites of his, and it's like a critic that like critics like really lambasting him at the time for like doing something as obscene as the I think it's like the drill through the ceiling
Mhm.
because that was like a religious right moment in time, and he just says the phrase like made perfect sense to me when I made it, and I that's been in my head a lot this year of the people that are like this is so twisted and bizarre and wonderful, or this is so like twisted I hated it, like didn't add up, and I'm like yeah, like made sense to me, like
Yeah.
I can't I think the strong reactions in either direction to me are very exciting and like are something that I as a cinephile like I don't see a lot of that in today's culture. I see movies that really have to get like universal hype to just get
Yeah.
people out to see them, and I I like divisive stuff. Like I kind of loved Backrooms for that reason. That was like I thought a great movie and like was also generally well reviewed. But not something that worked for everybody either because it is like cerebral and
Mhm.
uh it's different. But obviously Sender is its own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I love especially it happens to me a lot where if I watch a movie and I'm like I don't know if that worked for me and then I'll do a deep dive or I'll start reading other reviews and analyses and then I'll be like, "Oh, I didn't think of it that way." And then I'll want to rewatch it again and then other things will like open up for me. So I'm sure this interview will absolutely help bump it up another half star or so. Tell me about the story. Like I'm a writer as well as everything else that I do, but I'm always curious about where you started with this plot because I know it was a short film first. What inspired the like the brushing scam idea, or did you start with the ending and work backwards? Like how did that come to be?
Yeah, it was. Uh, it started with the brushing scam. It was like it was this knowing that there is some story about somebody who thinks this one thing is happening to them that does happen to a lot of people, and then it blossoming into something more personal, more bizarre. I made a short film version of this 4 years ago
Mhm.
that was like it was a character named Julia in recovery. It was that side of it came to me very early, and it was like based on personal experience, but also like talking to people that I had grown up with who have faced addiction and like I was talking about this concept and they were like, "Oh, that would like freak me the fuck out." Like if I'm like like if I'm white knuckling and I'm just like and I'm calling customer service people to help me and like not calling like the people who like actually love me. And I'm like, "Great, that's the movie."
Yeah.
Like that's like you just start there and the short itself is like I'm very proud of it. It's a different style than the feature.
Mhm.
It's like, and I think that you see a lot of proof of concepts that many of which are awesome, like that, like are really like, okay, that's like, the short is like a scene or it's like a idea, and then like it's the same kind of style for 90 minutes. I just knew that if we were going to make it like over 5 times longer than the short film, like I just wanted to get inside her head more. So like on the page, I really started playing with the structural pieces of like we can go into her memories, we can start to really feel close to her while also not always trusting her. But knowing at the heart of it that like whoever I would partner with to do this movie with, it's like it's such an execution play. It's such a like this is an opportunity to like know every like morsel of this woman with a brilliant actor. So when Britt came in, when every actor in the movie is so creatively brilliant, and they really brought their own imprimatur to every character. But Britt like found a tone that spoke to me. It spoke to her own sensibility. I think it spoke to like the short films of mine that she had watched and like what the concept presented to her of like that there's a chance for something that feels like very intense but also funny and bizarre and emotional, but emotional in ways that you don't necessarily expect this premise to go in. So it's like, yeah, I like to think I grew as a filmmaker between the short and the feature, and wanted to take a big swing with this.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I could totally see it. Is there a reason when you developed the short, did you always picture it as a feature, or did you, when you were designing to do your first feature, what made that short the one that you decided to adapt?
I knew that concept spoke to people. I knew that the like because I could see I liked it as a future concept. I like had made a bunch of short films. I
Hmm.
made a couple after Return to Sender as well, but like I would always toy with like what made the most sense as like a future idea because you get to like in an ideal world like you get to share this little piece of art with people and you get to see how they respond to it and you get to kind of build off of it, whether it's this concept or like whether it's just like this is your style or your voice and you're building this kind of like filmmaking community. But I remember I think it was at the Holly Shorts screening where it was like people will be nice at those things and they'll come up and say that they liked it or whatever. But I just got so many people who are like, I got a weird fucking box. Like saying like you need to know that. And I like almost like looking around with suspicion of like everyone else thought I was kind of crazy for thinking this way. But like I really felt like someone was after me. And it sounded so silly when I told anyone, but then I saw your film and I was like, oh, that like there's absolute like they saw themselves in the character, whether or not they had their the character's relationship to recovery or any of the like her specific elements of her journey. They were just like that would freak me out too.
Yeah,
Like, and I was like, great, let's go. That's the story that I want to invest a few more years of my life into then because it's I can tell that it's resonating.
perfect. Yeah, no, it definitely makes sense, especially in today's day and age. We all order stuff online, but we'll get mysterious packages. Obviously I PR packages sometimes, but they'll take me by surprise, and I'm like, "Who's this from? What's this supposed to be?" And you always got to be little cautious. So I definitely think it resonates. Now, you had mentioned the cast. The cast of this film is absolutely stacked. How did that come to be? Was it just right place, right time? Did some of them like just friendly connections, or did you like put out actual auditions? Because you got some heavy hitters here.
I've worked with Jamie,
Hmm.
and it was the greatest gift that any person like her could give a young filmmaker to say, I'm not just going to blend my name as a producer, which a lot of actors do, which I think
Hmm.
is wonderful. But like I will like if you want me to do a small part in it, like let's think of something fun. And I knew like there was a character that I had a loose idea of that could be like something that Julia would a story that she would discover and see herself in, and kind of finding this cosmic link between those two characters was really exciting to me, and making them feel similar to each other, making like what the hair color, with the kind of like the like intense, unusual, bizarre behavior, but in a way that still felt like grounded and human. But no, it was like it was a journey to find. Honestly, the reason that I think I found the cast we did is like uh, uh, once Britt was on board, it was so many people who were like, I want to do scenes with Britt Lauer. That's like I love her. She's like one of like she's so good on Severance. She's so good in everything. And uh, it's funny because when you put an indie movie together, and you're a filmmaker, and I'm sure you've seen this yourself. It's like it is so there's so many different permutations of just like whoever plays that leading part, like the tone of the movie completely changes, the collaboration changes. But Brit, I think, not just set a bar for like this is the like kind of rawness and intensity that the performances are going to operate on, but like with invention. Like I think that she like inspired David and Ray and Utkarsh and Anna to like really all go like let's like find. I'm a very improv friendly filmmaker, especially especially when you're working with people that are like have a ton of improv experience, or like
Hmm.
super funny, are going to surprise you. um if I Britt would, I think, at some point realize that like if Russell is laughing behind the camera, whether something is funny or just exciting,
Yeah.
then I am then she's probably doing the right thing. But the other side of the casting thing is that we shot it in Santa Clarita, and we were able to like it was a super contained production. It like mostly takes place in her house, but we were able to have people just drop in while they were going about their bigger, broader lives. And I think that's something that you lose when like production becomes like prohibitively expensive. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm really happy that our movie was small enough to kind of land in the sweet spot of we got a tax rebate from the state, which was amazing, and absolutely helped get the movie made. But it's also just people can show up over a handful of days and just like throw heat for like these incredible I have no idea what the cast of this movie would have been if we had to shoot anywhere else. It would not be, I imagine, nearly this good. I'm really grateful.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's I do love throwing heat. That's a great way of saying it. And I love that you're improv friendly. I was going to ask about that because I know, having met David, I know he's probably got some fun ideas that he can just kind of throw out there because he's been in so many different genre flicks. And I know obviously Jamie's got her experience. And when I mentioned this movie before, all the comments, it was somebody else calling out a different member of the cast that was like, "Oh my God, I'm totally gonna watch anything Brit's in. When can I see this movie?" Or Rhea, "Holy shit, I've got to check this out." And obviously, David Dastmalchian is everyone's favorite guy right now because of everything he's done. So, what were some of your favorite moments on set where maybe something took you by surprise while you were filming, and you were like, "We got to keep that in."
I mean, there were like just like countless like there would be a version of a scripted line, usually like something offhand, because I think the tone was something that we were all on the same page about. Of
Mm,
like if like if Julia's in the kitchen in a memory and like putting something together, like this is what like and making a drink for the on this like really weird uncomfortable date, like this is the kind of thing she would be riffing on. But what I did not know when I met Britt that she like has a ton of improv background, and like has done all sorts of. Yeah, she's on like a UCB team with Zach Cherry, which I did not know about, and I've not seen them perform together in UCB yet. I would absolutely love to.
yeah.
But it was just like it was kind of it so many like little gestures and lines that from her own life. The in prep we discovered the box punching. She asked if she said my husband punches boxes open. How would you feel about me doing that? And I'm like, that's that. When you're making a movie like Sender, you do have to find a way to make cardboard interesting for over 90 minutes.
Fair.
And I was like, I think that will really help us. I think that's really going to lend because we knew that felt right for the character. It always did.
Hmm.
The like that this is this like kind of like drum set of a woman of just like I'm gonna pop this open. I'm gonna like rip that open. So the improv came from like gestures. It came from lines. But I think my favorite day of shooting was it was Britt and David, and we had thrown out. We knew that we were going to shoot a scene where they were going to talk about. I think like she's showing David the whole like her whole art, her smirk art, and they were going to have some kind of connection, and then the sister was going to come in, and you know they would leave the house and they would go into the van. But we threw out that whole scene and just like sat upstairs, and we were just like I think so much of like independent filmmaking is like you have to keep things on rails because you only have so much time and money, and you have to like know what you're getting and make sure you have what you need. But also I think you just have to pay attention to like what's in front of you, and like what Britt's chemistry with each of her supporting actors was like so interesting and unique, and we had to just kind of follow it further. So we found the chat pile song that they listened to. We like found like how does she describe Charlie? Like is this a friendship? Is this something more? They're coworkers now. Like for her sister to say that like I it was a dream like on multiple levels because Britt and David are so I think gifted at those kind of like innate like story ideas of like this is how we can kind of communicate like this tenderness, and then you watch the movie and it's like wow, like the it's the rest this tenderness between those two characters is like the respite in like the insanity that this woman is living through. And also I think for me like makes it so much harder. I guess this is a spoiler for a movie that does not currently have distribution. But Julia is a very volatile character, and she is not great to the people in her life, and like you see a path for her when she's with this guy, and it was like beautiful and kind of heartbreaking to see the results of that. So that was really as a result of the of and like what they brought to those performances, which was like everything.
I bet. Yeah, that's it's incredible. And you're like you're saying, her chemistry with everybody is really what kind of carries this film so well, and her character and her performance is so just unreal. Um, what was the most challenging day on set then? What was like the hardest part of this? Because you said a lot of it was in one location, but you've got these incredible set pieces still like within that home. But then you do leave for some pretty intense moments towards the end there. What was the biggest challenge filming this?
It like the biggest challenge like we had a really phenomenal team, and we thought ahead when it came to the warehouse day, when it came to there's a scene with the van outside, there's a couple scenes with the van outside in different locations. Like we knew like when we were able, because so much of our like day-to-day shooting was in the house, we had like another kind of producing team like really planning all the logistics of like here's how we can pull this off in a day here or a day there. I think the biggest challenge was the pace, and it was like it was a movie that was like prep was so much like you have all of this movie that you're trying to fit into a certain amount of time. And I think that happens on every movie. I think it happens on like big and small films. And it was really like looking at, what do you absolutely need to like communicate this person's story, while, like I said earlier, like having the opportunity to like redirect and find and go. The last day of shooting was everything at the warehouse, everything that takes place inside the van, and Britt's kind of mid credits business outside the van as well. So it was a very, very packed day. But by that point, like I remember like a moment or two of like stress, but like it, I remember being just like I was so sad it was the last day. And I don't know if that's like a feeling that people have after 17-day shoots where they're just like, oh my god, like I need to go home and not do anything for 3 weeks. And there was maybe an element of that too, but like it it felt like, and if I could, I would want to shout out so many names on this, but like our assistant director Jessica Doe is like so phenomenal at scheduling, and was able to kind of stack everything together and put it together, that like when we got to the scenes that we wanted to shoot, like we had time to play. We had time for like, if Britt or David or Ray or Anna, anybody wanted to go again, they would have the chance to. And it would be like, it like, even if I was, happy with what I wanted, like I wanted them to have the experience out of this of like, let's, like, if you want to find something else, like we're not going to run this too tightly that you don't have the opportunity to. So I don't know if that answered the question, but it like it's so hard to schedule an indie movie, but I'm like very grateful for how this one came together.
I bet, yeah. So with that, because you had said it was only a 17-day shoot, is that the biggest difference you noticed? Because you've done so many short films, and this is your first feature. Was it just having the extra time that's really the big difference in jumping into a feature, or were there any other major differences you noticed?
Post production. That was
Post
that
production.
was that like I think prep, which was very hard, and shooting were challenging, but I think I had like I was grateful to like have had the chance to make like a few short films with like a lot of production resources. There's one that I'd love to send you, one I made called Burnout, that I made right before this, because I feel like you would get a kick out of it. I just sent it to our mutual friend Justine. She had not seen it, and she had like she's like, oh my god. It's more of a body horror kind of thing, but
Oh, send it.
uh,
Yeah,
yes,
send
yeah,
it
it's
immediately.
a. I think knowing some of your tastes and watching all your wonderful videos, I'm like I think Josh would enjoy this. But yeah, I like post for this movie is there were some filmmakers at South by who saw this, and the first thing they said were like, "How long did you edit this movie for?" It is objectively very edited. Some
Mhm.
critics would say over edited. I That's their opinion to have. Every edit to me like was always an opportunity to kind of like snap into a rhythm and get closer to the character. But like making a movie with that kind of like post production construction, like it is like I think I used the phrase like piece of music, but it's so like you have to watch it so many times. You have to watch it with different people. You have to like really gut check like what are they absorbing, and what are they comfortable not knowing yet. like,
Mhm.
and they can discover later. But it's so like the way that the score and Gavin Brithik's music like works with Marco Rosas's editing was like, and I'm so grateful that both of them like they gave so much time and love to this project. And Gavin was working on music samples like well before production, just to kind of like help Britt and I like, okay, this is what we think the sound of the movie is going to be like. And it it really like it all, it's a movie where all of the different little pieces that everyone involved in post production, we had hundreds of VFX shots, like, and that's a like that was a big like I had done on Burnout. I had done some VFX, but it was not nearly this quantity. And getting that done with a team who's like working remotely and working everywhere involves just like a level of like you have to be so specific in post about what you want to see, and also immediately know if something is like not quite registering the way that you saw it in your head, or that it's not quite as clear as you would want it to be. Like it is, like people say that shooting a movie is like a thousand decisions like every minute. Like with this post production on Sender was a the last few months especially, we were like a thousand decisions every minute. And I think any filmmaker would go like, well, if you just kept giving me time, I would probably still find things to do. I felt that way. Which I don't I don't feel that way when I watch the edit of this movie. I did say when we wrapped production that the looseness of like how, Britt and David and Ray and everybody were like finding these characters. I was like, I could just keep writing stuff for us to shoot, like not replacing anything else. I don't know where it would go. It
Yeah.
would probably feel redundant, but like I'm enjoying this so much that like I feel like we could find some place for it to go. But this is a movie like it's so maximal that you also want to kind of gut check yourself and surround yourself with people who are like, pull this back, like focus on her, focus on them in the case of like some of the really great like one-on-one acting scenes, and like and make it clear, make it a very emotional journey. And it was really what it was a like a very memorable experience watching all the actors watch it. Most of them had seen it were watching it for the first time at the premiere at South by,
Okay.
and they and a lot of just kind of watching it like like oh my, like this is whatever I had thought in my head, like this is better, this is like both not and also better than what I had thought. And that's a really fun thing to give your collaborators of like look at like it's honoring all the amazing work that they do at the end of the day,
Yeah.
or trying to the best you can.
Oh yeah. I can only imagine the balance struck between all the different characters is really well done. And I was going to call out the editing too, because it's I noticed the editing in movies, especially these genre films. I think it's a really underrated aspect that makes for some strong like story points and like back and forth. And this one's pretty frenetic. Who's the editor again? You said
Marco Rosas.
Marco Rosas. Okay.
And I edited all of my shorts from Return to Sender, Closing Time, Burnout. I did them all with Marco.
Oh, okay.
And so when we were in the saddle together with this one, it felt like, we had a rapport, and we knew, especially with Burnout and the editing style that we applied to that short, we knew that we really liked that kineticism. And we knew that Sender was scripted to have a lot of that kineticism. So we're honoring this project by really going for like, don't be afraid to, if ending a scene a little too early or a little too late makes you feel uncomfortable, like lean into the feeling. Like it doesn't mean it's always going to work. And we were really trying to modulate like what always kind of felt right for the rhythm of each reel, and then the movie at large. But you end up just, I think you find so much. You really end up kind of orchestrating it in a way that makes you feel insane. Like I would like you to feel like your own sanity is unraveling a little bit
Yeah.
while you're watching, and because to me that's the most honest way to connect to Julia's journey while ending the movie without spoiling it, in a way that I think can make you reflect on like a more like even nail about like what this experience meant to her, and like stepping, you know, away from that really intense mindset a little bit. So it like editing is everything in movies. It's and it was really everything for Sender too.
Absolutely. Yeah. It was jarring in all the best ways. I love that, and I love the just like the different angles and really unique shot choices and like POVs for some of these, because it's you see so many movies on streaming nowadays that all just feel very kind of like templated and by the book. So it's always fun to watch a movie where I was like, I would have never thought in a thousand takes to put the camera there, or I would have never thought in a thousand takes to cut there and jump to this. So I do love that. I know we are running short on time, but I still have a couple questions. What
Go
is
for it.
next for Sender? You're in Chattanooga right now?
I'm in Chattanooga right now. We have a bunch more festivals later this summer and fall, and I get to keep, you know, pretending I'm PT Barnum and just taking around my going on whatever this tour is. It's been really wonderful. We went to Florida, we went to San Francisco. Britt and I got to go to San Francisco and Slow together to present it, and that was and to be able to do that like as an extension of South, that was really exciting. We think we're going to release it theatrically next year, and we're figuring out the best path for that. But to me, it's a movie that I'd like to imagine it's going to be the kind of thing that will I would love I would love to get you when the time is right to see it in a theater, because it is truly like I every filmmaker says this, like take a shot if you've heard a filmmaker say it's better in a theater. This one, I feel like it's like I watch it differently. Like when
Mhm.
I'm like it, like it's just so. I think all the design work that the team did is like kind of just so like just knocks you out. Or I'd like to think so. But yeah, it's been like it's been really exciting to find the audience for this and like to show it to. I think something interesting is that in some of the like the slow like the Florida film audience was like it was near a college, so it was like a lot of young people, and I think they were really excited and invigorated from it from that perspective, and also the fact that it came from a proof of concept short, and being able to go to that festival and, you know, any give any like modicum of advice for like what my experience was like of like this is like it is doable, like you especially like I feel like that's the most exciting thing about what's happening this summer. It's like it just feels like filmmaking kind of feels democratic in a way that it often doesn't, and what people are interested in feels so unique and special in a way that like we're kind of coming out of this era where everything feels so samey and big and from a different generation. But what was I going to say? And then you find older audiences that like I would never probably put this movie in front of just like a normal like a very like down the middle taste like older
Mhm.
gentleman or woman. Like it is an abrasive experience for some people. But I found people that watch it like, and the recovery story really becomes the text for them in a way that it's so lovely to talk to people about, like the same thing that what I mentioned about the short of like people talking about their box experience. I've had this experience of like I had this experience, like I had this recovery experience, or I knew someone who had this, and people can really smell test the accuracy of that, and how much it like touches them personally. So that's been a real joy. It makes me feel like we did something right. So more to be revealed with the journey of Sender, but being able to talk to you about it has been a highlight. I'm a huge fan of your channel.
Oh, thank you so much. I do appreciate that. Yeah, it's always a delight getting to talk to a filmmaker and kind of pick their brain, figure out what all went into all this. Like I said, I'm a writer, but I don't have anything. I have two IMDb credits, I think, as a background extra on something when I lived in Denver years ago. But I'm hoping to eventually make some stuff with friends, and so I love getting to hear the process for people who did it. And It's incredible what you've pulled off. You got a lot of great short films. I'm very excited to see Burnout and the other ones now. And I'm excited to rewatch Sender. I'd love to see it in a theater. I agree. Everything deserves to be seen in a theater. It is just better that way. And I think no matter what the movie is, you're just gonna get a better experience because you're gonna be focused. You're gonna be dialed in. I've seen so many movies at home where I'm like, oh, this was fine, but then when I saw it in a theater, I was like, this was unbelievable. Like there's so much I miss, even when I think I'm paying attention fully at home. I know I do better in a theater, so I do hope that I can catch Sender at one of these screenings on a big screen one of these days.
Are you LA based?
I am Long Beach technically, but I go up to LA all the time.
Nice.
Yeah,
Cool. I believe we're doing Beyond Fest this year, so I'll if you're around, I'll save you a seat.
awesome. I'll be around for sure. Yeah.
Wonderful. But no, thank you, and I appreciate the good humor about. I was not offended by your initial take of the movie in any way. I was very like, okay, cool. It'll be fun to talk to someone who's like sitting and they like, I like it. I don't know about all of it. Because it's a like I want more movies like that in the universe.
Hmm.
Honestly, I want more like you can kind of like Disclosure Day has been a really exciting, not an unexpectedly like really exciting one for like what people are responding to in that and what they're kind of like
Yeah.
butting up against.
Yeah, I'm excited. I haven't seen that one yet, but I've only heard the worst and the best reviews, so I'm very curious to see where I land on it because like people I trust really loved it, and then other people I trust are like, I thought it was a mess. I couldn't believe it, and I was like, oh, that's so strange. But yeah, I think it's great, especially when I love seeing a movie where I don't think it works for me at first, and then I find myself still thinking about it 3 or 4 days later, and then I do that deep dive, and I'm like, maybe this hit me harder than I thought it did on initial viewing, and then I'll rewatch it and be like, oh, this was incredible. As opposed to, I prefer that as opposed to giving a movie like 4.5 stars just because I had a really great time at the movie theater, and then I watch it later on down the road, and I was like, what did I see in this? This movie's not
It where it just
great.
it's like vapor. Like it was really nice, but it was just like vapor in your brain. Like
Yeah,
I no, I it's really wonderful to run into people who are like, I'm still thinking about that fucking thing. Like,
yeah,
like to like I don't know. Like, and it's because that's what you want art to be.
yeah,
And that's what you like. Genre is so interesting, and so many people have like it's smarter than all of us in a way of like what people are looking for and want out of that, and how people subvert that, or how a movie kind of differs from the experience that you want. But to me, it's all interesting, but
mhm.
it's also really nice to be able to like as a first film kind of go out and meet the people who are watching it and hear all of their reactions, because you cannot filter out people who don't like it. Like it's part of the broader experience.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I'm happy with where we're ending up with this one.
Perfect. That's awesome. Well, congrats again, man. I appreciate you taking the time and reaching out. I'm glad we were able to have this talk, and hopefully I get to talk to you again soon at Beyond Fest.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you
All right.
so much, Josh.
Thank you too, man.